So the name of today's lesson is Sinners of the Bible. And what they did wrong. And us examining ourselves, we definitely want to make sure that we're not walking a thin line, trying to be like them, doing anything close to what they did. So let's start with the first known person that who's the first person that sinned? Cain? No, it wasn't the first person. All right. All right. So to be honest, I guess when I first thought about it, I thought about Eve too. But then you go back, it was Eve. So let's get that in Genesis. And like I said, as we go through these things, so now Eve being a woman, so sisters, you got to make sure that you don't do the thing that Eve did. So Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman," so then he goes after the woman. Now, remember, Satan, he didn't look like a serpent. The serpent didn't look like, so I want sisters to pay really close attention, because he didn't look like a bad guy. And so I can just briefly prove that to you. Let's see. Go to chapter 2 and verse 8. Read that.
This is Genesis chapter 2 and verse 8. "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed."
So the garden that he's referring to is the people whom he had made. He's using it in a form, he's talking in parables, and he's saying a garden. Okay, go ahead.
"And out of the ground made the Lord to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food."
Right, it's pleasant to the sight and good for food. So we compare that, link that up to Isaiah 61. Those are the people. Those are the trees. Okay. Now, when it says good for food, you to socialize with. Okay. Read the next part.
"The tree of life also in the midst of the garden."
Right, the tree of life. So you can eat from the tree of life. Okay. And so we already dealt with that, being the Messiah. All right, just overseeing everything that was created and everything that was made, he was there in the presence. Now, here's the other one. Go ahead.
"And the tree of knowledge of good."
Stop. The tree of knowledge of good, so that part looks good. Go ahead.
"And evil."
But the other part doesn't look so good. So this person has the ability to be two-faced. This person has the ability to come to you and show you the best of something. Okay, this is the serpent right here. So now I'll go back to where we started at in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1. And it's going to show you where Eve went off and became the first sinner on the planet Earth. Go ahead.
This is Genesis 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made.
Right. Why was he so subtle? Because he had the ability to deceive. He had the ability to let his light deceive you into making you think that that's what it is. But that's really not what it is. Do everybody understand what I'm saying? Just like if somebody give you or show you some, you ever seen fake fruit on a bowl? It's like plastic. You see like oranges and apples and grapes, it's fake. Or you see artificial flowers. If you look at that stuff from afar, you can't tell if that stuff is real or not. Or, hey, what about hair? You see fake hair on somebody, you can't tell if that stuff is real. People have to be like, they have it done so good. Like, is that real? So Satan had the ability to transform something evil and have the appearance to make it look good. And he was subtle in doing it. He's very, very slick in doing it. Let me get the definition for you of subtle. It says sly, artful, cunning, okay? Sly, subtle, well, we know subtle, but slick. Artful meaning creative. So he was very, very creative. A lot of you might not even think that people will be creative when dealing with you, because we want to give people the benefit and never doubt them. We want to believe that people are authentic. But you're going to have to wake up, because you're going to get yourself hurt. You're going to be in the midst of sin soon if you don't realize that you got to follow these scriptures a lot closer than you ever imagined. Through the Spirit, I thought about something today, that the narrow path is narrower than we even thought it was. Well, you thought that you had some stepping room and room to dance and go here a little and there a little. You don't. It's even slimmer than you thought. That's why you have the pains and the sometimes maybe the attitudes that you have, because you can't do what you really want to do. You got to get past that state where you feel that you really want to do something, and you know that the scriptures teach you not to. You got to get past that, man. Do you ever understand what I'm saying? The Most High says, no, in order to get his kingdom, this is so real that you gotta see it through. And if you do it as a young child, if you do it as a young adult, it's even better. Because all it's gonna do is get you the blessings that you hear about. Tonight, we're gonna work on the sinners. But the ones that were blessed in their deeds, hey man, they was walking around. They didn't have no issues and no problems because they accepted what the Lord told them to accept. And they took the blessings along with it. Y'all got to start off, y'all young. Y'all got to start off, y'all getting it and letting it happen. But you cannot start off, Shalom, you can't start off with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Who you fooling? I can have y'all to just say my name like we had to say the answers when I'm really trying to get us to pay attention, Sham. But that's cool, because you're not really fooling me. You're really not. And I know you're not fooling God the Most High. You're not fooling the Most High. Not for 1 minute. And that's where it counts. Because I don't got nothing to give you. But he got everything to give you. He got everything that you're looking for. And the person that you cannot hide from is the person that you sent him before. And that's the one that's rejected. I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world, man. Because you never know your sentence. Do we all understand that? We're going to say that we never know our sentence on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We never know our sentence.
We left somebody at auction. 1, 2, 3. We never know our sentence. You never know your sentence, man. You never know it. You gotta know it. So don't even, why even do it? Why even do it? If I teach you this way, you should remember this. And as judgments fall upon you, that's just telling you turn around. That's a chastisement. Turn around, get yourself back on track. Because that's something you like, I can't take this. You're supposed to run into something because you have sinned and say, man, I can't take this. So what you got to be sad? So what you got to weep? So what you got to mourn? Call one another. And vent to each other. Say, I'm just not feeling good. This, and then you start venting off, and then take your inspiration, take your exhortation. See, look, that's a positive way that I'm saying, opposed to saying take your what? Correction. That's right. That's a positive way of me just saying take your correction, because you already know what you need to do, but you just need it, and that's gonna happen until you grow. Israel, we're gonna have to learn to deal with each other until we grow, and you're gonna have to expect that. It ain't overnight. It's taking a lot of us years to grow. It's taking us years and a lot of chastening of the Father of the Most High. But we still can't lose a friend over those things. So the serpent, he gonna try and get you. He got the best. If he get the best, he can get the rest. But the best is Christ. But before Christ, Adam and Eve was the best, because he made them leaders of the people. And if he gets them, then he got everybody else. Why you think sin didn't what? Stop. That's right. Oh, you think it didn't stop? Y'all should be like, listen, this is how I was. I was like, oh no, I don't even want to do that. Because I was in the midst of everything. And I slammed the brakes. I'm like, for real? Oh, this is wrong. I mean, you kind of know it's wrong, but when you know that God, the Most High, ain't cutting no slack, this is that and the third, and then you really find out, like 1 Peter 4:4, I want y'all to always remember that one, just like we remember Genesis what? 22:17. 1 Peter 4:4 talks about the will of the Gentiles. These demons want us to smoke drugs, sell drugs, shoot at each other, go to the club, eat swine. If they want you to do it, you're supposed to be like, I ain't doing that. They want you to do it. They want you to be a teen parent. They want you to do that. Yeah, because you know what? They know that your hustle and your grind is finna come out. You finna go out and you finna work at McDonald's, Subway. You finna work at the supermarket. You finna get them rich. I went to get my license plates today, and this lady, she saw my personal property tax. She laughed, not in a bad way, but she called me by my government name. She said, man, you pay a lot of taxes, don't you? I say, yeah. And then she laughed again. She said, you a good man. And then she said, if I got paid for every one of these tags I sent out of the door, I'd be rich. Mm-hmm. I was just telling Mayana that. 15 years old, ready to go work. I said, Mayana, you don't need to work. You want to work. I said, tell me what you need. I get it for you. Because I really hate to see, I felt that way when every child went out the door looking for a job. I was heated. I was steamed. I was hurt. We all seen Underground, right? And remember James came of age and he had to work in the field. That hurt his mom, didn't it? So y'all, that when y'all have children, when your child get ready to go out there and tell them I'm going to work, they're gonna be happy because they're ready to make the money, right? But when you get to that point, you're gonna be like, these demons, man, they trying to work my baby. You understand what I'm saying? You're gonna feel like that, man. So, and I was just telling her, I was saying, yeah, you finna go and you're gonna make this $1 per hour, but they finna make so much more off whatever you did for that hour. And that's the way it is. I understand that we gotta work. And that's the reason why we should be trying to come up out of this situation. And how do you come up out of it? Just by turning unto the Most High and start being obedient and stop letting that artful, cunning spirit of Satan get inside of you to where you think that you can outslick people around you, because that's the only people that you can fool. You can't fool the Most High. She said, I would be rich if I got paid for every one of these things I sold out the door. Now, she said, for instance, if she's making $12 an hour, shit, I left there, I spent almost $100. That's just one. And the line was wrapped around the corner. Literally. I went to 2 license places before I just had to figure out, I'm just going to have to wait. I mean, literally. The line was wrapped around the building, man. There's so many people come up through there. Thousands of people come up through there, man. So, back to the point. He outthought her because she didn't listen to the man. Sisters, if you don't listen to the man, you're going to get outthought. And Satan, he's going to make it seem good to you. It's real. Even you single sisters, the elders, you got to have to listen. The elder mothers, the elder men, you're going to have to listen, or you're going to get dealt with subtle. He was more subtle than any beast of the field. So there was others that he got, obviously, because the scriptures is calling them beasts, which the Lord had made. Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, yea, had God said, ye should not eat of every tree of the garden? Right,
so now what is he quoting? He's quoting the Bible. He might as well say Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You understand? Have God said that ye should not eat of every tree of the garden? Go ahead.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden.
So she's talking to that tree. Go ahead.
God had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
So did she know that she was talking to that person? She didn't even realize that. Think about that. She didn't even realize that. So how many of you be talking to Satan and don't even realize that? And how many of you talking to Satan, you in sin just for talking to Satan and don't even realize it? You in the midst of sin. And don't even realize it. You are sinning by talking to the devil. Because you're not supposed to. Because the devil is going to tempt you, man. He's going to tempt you to go against the Most High. Go ahead.
And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
Then he turned around and told her you're not going to die. Meaning you're not going to get judged. How many times our women out here are getting told that the consequences of the Bible is not going to stand? A lot. Especially it runs rampant in the fornication world. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You know, I just I'm gonna stick with this because I want to go far. You cannot. If you know the judgments of the scriptures, the Bible says the judgment is going to stand. It's going to accomplish the thing that it was sent for to do. Where'd you stop at? Verse 5 started over.
Verse 5, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
In other words, he just tricked her and told her something that was above what she was taught and gave her a different outlook on things. which made her think that she was smarter. Read the next verse. That's going to tell you.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food,
You see that? So she said, oh, man, what you just said to me is what? What you just said to me is good. So did he deceive her? Because what he said to her was bad. It was so bad that not only did she disobey the law of the Most High, but she also disobeyed who else? She also disobeyed her husband. Because the scriptures teach sisters, these scriptures, they not changing, they just repeating itself. And the same spirit that's always been in the servants, they come right back into the prophets. It's the same spirit. The scriptures teach you that if you would learn anything, then you're supposed to ask your husbands at home. She had a husband. She wasn't supposed to learn any of that. Okay, go ahead.
and that it was pleasant to the eyes.
Right, it was pleasant to the eyes, meaning she saw it. She saw what he was saying. Go ahead.
And a tree to be desired to make one wise.
Right. She thought she was getting in wisdom, but she wasn't. She was getting deceived. Go ahead.
She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
Right. He contemplated on it. So he went for it first. She went for it first, and then he went for it first. Okay. Go ahead.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked.
They knew that they had sinned outside of the scriptures. They knew that they were what? They knew that they were naked. Because before, there was nothing in their mind that told them. Just like some of you. You don't look or think sexual until you introduce to it. But as soon as you introduce to it, you're like, I never noticed that. I never tripped off of it like that. Like as a child covers her eyes. They're like, oh, I don't want to see that. A child be like, that's gross. That's nasty. What? Yuck. But then, now here comes Satan. 4 foot, 10. You know what I'm saying? 4'10", and ready to step out there and being managed. What is it to be managed? To be like a man. You're like, whoa, you talking like a man. You ain't scared to look like that and talk like that? No. And then all of a sudden, you see as a young girl, you will see your reflection in that youth, in that other person. So now you're womanish, trying to be like a woman. You 4'7", soaking every bit of it up. Now you think that you are wise in doing so, and you in the midst of sin. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 2. First Timothy chapter 2, and now (14). 1 Timothy 2 and 14.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 14. And Adam was not deceived.
Adam was not deceived. Go ahead.
But the woman being deceived was in transgression.
What? Adam was not deceived. What is he talking about? Blaming the woman. Is that fair? This is to make you think. It's kind of a trick question. There's an answer, but it's to make you think. Is the scriptures blaming everything on Eve. Y'all you still thinking. A novel. I told us this before. Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
What's the question?
How did I word it?
Everything being blamed on Eve.
Is Eve being blamed for everything? Because it says Adam was not deceived, but the woman being. So is it Eve's fault? It says, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So it sounds like Adam was not in transgression. It says Adam was not deceived. He knew what he was doing. Okay. Oh, he made a what? He made a choice. Okay. So he made a choice and he wasn't deceived, right? So the woman, she was deceived. The woman been deceived. Now check this out. Everybody, y'all ready for this? Wait a minute. Y'all out there. Y'all ready for this? Huh? Okay. If she was deceived, it would seem like this thing would sound like in reverse. Okay. Give her some sympathy and empathy and give her some mercy because she was what?
Deceived.
Shit. Nah, she got judged. She got judged. Even being deceived. So we could walk around feeling like, oops, I didn't know. Oops, I made a mistake. I'm deceived and still end up getting judged. So whether you are deceived or whether you make a choice, if you sin against the Most High, He coming for you. She didn't escape because she was deceived. Because she was already told, and she still let the deceit happen. When she saw certain things unfolding in front of her, she was supposed to get the heck up out of there. What was the first thing that she saw that was wrong? What was the first thing that she saw that was wrong? I can't hear that. What was the first thing that she saw that was wrong? This is not a trick question. Use your imagination. You standing on the side from afar, seeing this go down. What do you see?
She saw tree good evil.
Okay.
She saw that he brought up that conversation and she had to reprove or something like that.
I'm not really clear, so I can't understand what you're saying. Anybody else that's clear? She shouldn't even been talking to another man. Period. She shouldn't have been even talking to another man, period. It wasn't her husband. Period. So those of you that are free-spirited, don't let America get you jacked up. Shalom. And she got deceived because she saw something good. She heard something good. And she thought that, oh, this is going to make me wise too. Okay. I'm going to be able to take this back to Adam and inform him. Oh, yeah, it's a brother over there that, yeah, he was kicking some knowledge. I'm like, what? Kicking some knowledge? What are you talking about? But even though Adam was not deceived, guess what? he got judged because he didn't correct it. So let's go back. Let's go back. Shalom. So these things right here, you don't want to come close to none of this right here. None of this. So even though this is Adam's choice. We're going to deal with Adam's choice right now. Genesis chapter 3 and 6. Let's go down to the last close to, where it says she took of the fruit thereof. Because she thought that it was making her smart. And so she got it. She consumed it, meaning mentally. She absorbed it. So she took of the fruit thereof and did eat it, and gave also unto her husband with her. You see that part right there? It says he made a choice. So brothers, when you make a choice, knowing thus says the Lord, and the Most High, the woman thou gavest to me, huh? The Most High don't want to hear that. He wants to know, what are you doing based upon what he told you to do. You handle that. You shouldn't even have to make a discussion about the woman. I don't take that into the Most High. Sometimes I'll be rethinking myself after classes, and I'll be like, was I too hard, abrasive, or firm? Did I sound crazy? Did I make my woman look funny or crazy? Because that ain't the objective. But I cannot go back to the Most High like Carlis Kassar. I can't say nothing about them to the Most High on what I did or what they talking about. I did this because of that. That is some BS. I'm not taking that into the Most High. He already told me what to do in the scriptures. I'm going to handle that here. He don't have to tell me again what to do, man. If they got an issue with that, that's a personal problem that you got to get over. But I'm not changing what the Most High said or didn't say. This man took this and made a choice and then fled. The Most High said, I got to holler at you for that. What is it?
He should have asked her, where did you get this information from? What's this crap you spewing out? Because he know that ain't come from him or the Lord. So he definitely made a choice.
Okay. So bear with me, because I want to move past Eve. Jump over to verse 12. Read that.
This is Genesis chapter 3 and verse 12. And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
She gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
So he threw her under the bus. Yeah. You can't turn around and listen, brothers. Check this out. Y'all brothers out there, pay attention. Brothers, if you got a woman, brothers that are married, okay, brothers that are married, brothers that got a woman, and you trying to get her to really humble herself to the truth and all of that. If the woman is giving you something that's outside of the scriptures, outside of the scope that you've been learned, you can't. What it says, she gave me of the tree and I did eat. You can't do that, man. You can't do that. Because it's going to make her happy. You're going to be brokenhearted. She has to be brokenhearted. Messing with you. You're going to have to be just that adamant. Like, nah. This is not what, he should have corrected that. He should have corrected that and took that to the Most High. Like, what do we do? What do I do? I need to put this tree to death. Yeah. Straight up. Because look at all the death that fell that came behind it. So it would have rather been that death or the death of that tree, or the death of Satan. Go to 2 Ezra 7. And verse 48.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 7, and verse 48. O thou Adam.
Give him a chance to get it.
This is 2 Ezra, chapter 7, and 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee.
Right. This was Ezra. When he figured it out, once the angel told him why things are the way that they are, man, he turned, and Adam was long gone. Adam was long gone. It's like, Adam, man, what did you do? What hast thou done? What did you do? Listen to your woman. Yeah. What did you do? Listen to your woman. She gave it to me and I did eat. No, you can't. I can't do that. No, I cannot do that. You got to be like, no, I cannot do that. No. And then you have to stop that water right there. You have to correct that. You're going to have to go to war at home. But it cannot get you cannot. Well, I'm going to, what is it? I'm word I'm looking for. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to do, let it high. I'm going to, nah, you can't do none of that. No, he didn't agree to disagree. He agreed, even though he knew it was wrong to do. Because you know what? Who was responsible for all of the? He was responsible for even the person that taught Eve. He was responsible for that person. Yeah. So he was supposed to go and correct Eve, and then go and correct that person, and ask the Most High, what do I need to do with this person? Because this person brought in something that killed everybody. Now there's death in the world. Do we not know that we die? We have funerals. There are graveyards because of what Adam done. Yeah. Death is because of this one situation right here. Oh, it ain't by chance. It's because of this right here. So look at how serious making a choice can be for you. We've been letting heathens straight up lead us away from the judgments of the Most High. They've been trying to tell us the whole time, you ain't gonna die. Oh, it's okay. They got people doing drugs. They got people killing each other. They got same-sex marriages. They got bestiality. They got you defiling your temple, eating unclean foods. They got you smoking tobacco products that's filled with all different type of cancerous substances that's making your lungs collapse and making it all kind of stuff, man. They got you doing all of these things by telling you, oh, it's okay. How are they going to tell you about God when God put you over them? He said that you are the highest people that he made. You are the greatest people that he made. So how the people that's lesser than you going to tell you? That's what happened here. This person was lesser than her husband. So Adam was the elder because he was the first person that was made, and he was the person that the Most High put in charge of everything and everybody. Didn't nothing have a name except Adam named it. He was the person. Then the Lord told him, you go and keep until the garden. You go and teach them. And then made him a woman to go and deal with all women. So she wasn't even supposed to be listening to a man. That was her sin. Look at the result of sin. Okay. Go back to Genesis 3. In verse 17.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree, of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
Right. You're going to have hard times. Go ahead.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground.
Right. So he was never supposed to return in the ground. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. And verse 23.
This is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, and verse 23. For God created man to be immortal.
The man is Adam and all the rest of us, but he created us to be immortal. Immortal means everlasting life. So if he had to listen, Samaria, when you were born, you wouldn't have an date to exit out of this earth. Yeah, it's a possibility you'd been about 4,000 or 6,000 years still looking the same way. He made man to be immortal. All right, go ahead.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
That's right. He made us to be an image of his own eternity. Like God has been around through all ages, so us supposed to have been around throughout all ages. Check this out. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil.
Stop. Who did I tell you? Hold that. So you got to start believing it. Hold this and go to Genesis. Find it for you. Know what I'm looking for? Genesis chapter 2 and verse 9. The last precept. You go to Genesis 2 and 9. You can start where the tree of life.
Genesis 2 and verse 9. Last precept. And the tree of life also in the midst of the garden. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
I told you that was Satan. And he had the ability to show people good and also evil. So now let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. This is talking about when he created man. The first people that he created, Adam was the first, and then everyone after that, they were supposed to be immortal. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil. So they was jealous of what? What was they envious of? Envious to be jealous. What was they inquisitive about? That knowledge that he had. Okay? Yeah. And obviously, the knowledge that he had was something that maybe Adam wasn't privy to. that was a test for Adam. Do everybody understand that? That was a test for Adam. It was something that Adam wasn't made privy to by the Most High, but Satan was. And what was that? What knowledge Adam wasn't made privy to yet? No.
When you eat thereof, you shall be like God to them.
What knowledge was Adam not made privy to?
That there was another way other than being obedient, because Satan made the choice not
When
to.
it, what did he see after
Nakedness.
the nakedness? The nakedness. You understand now? The nakedness. Now, the way that Adam looked at people was different. The way that Eve looked at people was different. Just like the way that we look at people, now we got to fight off lust all the days of our life. Lusting after one another. This man thinking every woman is cute. This woman thinking that every man is fine. Now you got to fight that off all the time. You introduced into that sooner or later. If that was never in the world that you grew up in, you would never look at, you would never see it like that. Okay? So because he had that knowledge, he's like envy of the devil. He said, okay, I can add this to my repertoire. No, you wasn't supposed to add that. You were supposed to rebuke that and possibly put him to death for that. Because look at it now, we all died because you didn't do it. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil, go ahead.
Came death into the world.
Came death into the world. So now if we envy the devil, something or somebody that's wrong, go ahead.
And they that do hold of his side do find it.
And if you go get envious of the devil, guess what's gonna happen? Death gonna come up on you faster than you ever thought, faster than you can imagine. All right. So now, I just brought us here to show you that it was meant for Adam to live forever. Adam was supposed to be alive right now. Yeah, it's very possible. It's not impossible. Less other people and more of us. Why are we killing each other at a rampant rate? We don't have to kill each other. We don't have to die at all. We are making a choice to murder one another, which is a bad decision to do so. Okay, so now let's go back. Genesis chapter 4. Lust. They fell into lust. Lust brought death upon them. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. Read that.
This is Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock.
So they had the law of offering and sacrifice. Go ahead. And the Lord.
And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
And the Most High, he had respect unto Abel and his offering. Go ahead.
But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
So why wouldn't he have respect to Cain's offering? Because when you offer something, you can't show when you offer something, you can't be envious. All All right, go to Tobit 4. Tobit chapter 4, verse 7.
This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious.
Right. You can't be wondering what's going to happen. Well, let them to have to bring offense at this point. Just hold up, heads. So it says, when thou givest alms of thy substance, and when you give alms, don't let your eye be envious. Envious is, what are you going to do with the offering? Right. That's envious. Or I don't want to do it, or I want it back, or I want to make an amendment, or I want to do this and I want to do that. So this is just one example when it comes to, when it comes to offerings. All right. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 4. So, here's you got to remember that this is still not day 1 or day 2, day 3, stuff like that. You know, let's just say, if the scriptures say that one day is 1,000 years with the Lord, and so if we say, well, the creation took 1,000 years, you know, the Most High spent 1,000 years, or if not, whatever. This ain't just so let's go over to the chapter 5. This is going to give us some information. Genesis chapter 5 and read verse 3.
This is Genesis 5 and 3. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and he called his name Seth.
So 130 years, that's a long time. So when things go south, now you need to start learning how to recover real fast. You don't wait 50, 60 years. Remember, the Most High is not going to allow us to continue to sin against him. So as far as why the offerings, go to Galatians chapter 3. Galatians chapter 3 and verse 19.
This is Galatians chapter 3 and verse 19. Wherefore then serveth the law. It was added because of transgression.
Right. So why was offerings given? Yeah, because of transgressions. So the Lord wasn't gonna just allow them to just continue to sin against him because sin was in the world at this point through Adam. And so he had to give them a way to come back and appease them. So they did some transgressions, even though it didn't mention it. Of course, everything in the world that happened in the world is not mentioned. Yes. There's a lot of things that was done, bro. And there's a lot of different people. So the ones that needed to stick out, those are the ones that the Most High is telling us about. But at the same time, all the flock and the generations of the Most High care about those people, and the leaders of the people, you know, they either it was either a flop or thumbs up. You know, so we going into some of the ones that committed sins so that we could examine their lives and say, well, hey, let's not make those decisions because it didn't end so well with them. Okay. So Galatians 3:19, it says, what is the purpose of the law? That's what it means where wherefore then serveth the law. What's the purpose of the law? It says it was added because of transgressions. So offerings were added to appease the wrath of the Most High, because it was something that would continue on all the way up into the Messiah. Okay, that's why it says till the seed should come, meaning until Christ should come, to whom the promise was made. All right. So go back to Genesis. Because it went straight to offerings right after they. And that's what I'm saying. Well, okay. So Genesis chapter 4 and verse 5, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. So you cannot just come into the Most High any type of way. Everybody understand that? Like this situation here. Let's go to Romans 12. Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. Read that.
This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
So is that an offering? Huh? Yeah. Congregation, is that an offering?
Yes, sir.
So if you present your bodies any type of way, rejected. So you playing around, you think you accepted, the whole time you only deceiving yourself. Rejected. Present your bodies, I'm begging you, is what Paul is saying, that you, by the mercies of the Lord, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. So if you're going to present your body, it has to be a certain type of way. It got to be holy. Okay? Holy meaning according to the law. What does the law tell me? What does the word of the Most High tell me? The same thing from Adam from the beginning. The Most High gave Adam specifics. When Adam failed, he killed him. As a matter of fact, he got banished. Do y'all hear me? He got banished. He got put out of his home. He got put out of his place that he was living. He got banished, man. Hold this. And I thought we passed Adam, but let's go back to it to show you. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 23.
Genesis chapter 3 and 23.
Let them get it. Come on, undulate. Go ahead.
This is Genesis 3 and 23. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden.
Check this out. Slow it down for him. Go ahead.
To till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man and he placed at the east.
So the place where he was meant to till, no more. Remember, he told him that at first he told him he was going to keep it. But now, ye shall be no priest to me. Now the Most High sent them out. Now he couldn't do it. The Most High drove him out of there. So he drove the man out. Go ahead. And he placed
at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword.
So he had angels there, people with a sword that would cut him to pieces if he tried to come back. Adam got put out. The job no more needs you. We have got to get serious. We have got to stop playing. Go to 1 Corinthians 10. And 21.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 21. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord.
You cannot drink the cup of the Lord. This is what the Lord says. I'm going to toast to that, brother. Shalom. Damn. This is what the Lord said. Okay, brother. Shalom. We're going to toast to this. This is what the Lord said. Shalom. We're going to toast to that. You say you agree. Go ahead.
And the cup of devils.
And the cup of the devils. Ha, ha, ha. This is what we do over here. So you got to do them both, huh? This is what it's talking about. This is the cup of the devil right here. This potion right here. This stuff and all the stuff. Let's say this might be a little club in here. A little club in there. This might be a little sex. This might be some little lesbianism. This might be some homosexuality. This might be some smoking drugs. This might be shooting drugs. This might be all this partying. This might be the what is this? The pagan days. These people slaughtering you, and you gonna keep days that they put up here for you to do. They named the day for you, and you gotta do it. Drink of that. There's devils. These people put their energy into it. Then you turn around and the cup of the Lord. Oh, I believe in the Lord. You try to do them both. He said you can't do that. You cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Go ahead.
You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
It's impossible. It's impossible. You cannot do it. You can only do one thing. Either you're going to serve the Most High or you're going to serve Satan. That's it. That's why it says, now go to 1 John. That's why it says this, in which y'all please share this video and tag somebody in it. First John 3 and verse 8. This is something that we don't like to hear because we be eating of the table of the devils. Go ahead.
This is 1 John 3 and 8. He that committed sin is of the devil.
Bam. We hate to hear that. We hate to hear that. Read it again for me. I heard some pages. Let them get it.
This is 1 John 3 and 8. He that committed sin is of the devil.
He that committed sin is of the devil. You don't like to hear that. He that committed sin is of the devil. So if you committing sins, and the scripture say you're the devil, that means that you eating from his table. That means you are attracted to what Satan, the subtle one, is doing and saying. You're attracted to that. You got to get that off of you, man. Can't nobody take that off of you but you. Because I don't see a phone. This phone just went out, says hi. These people dead wrong. I think they heating up my phone trying to get me to buy another one. I can't get no other phone. Esau? Well, I can't, it won't hold in that thing right there. Take the case off yours. Yours gonna go hot too? Hmm? 66. All right, y'all, hold up. Let me get the Facebook back going. And then we're gonna continue. Okay. Y'all finally, and we inside. All right. So I know that's a hard pill to swallow. He that sinned is of the devil. He that committed sin is of the devil. How do we shake that? We shake that by stop sinning. Stop offending the Most High. Ecclesiastes 17:25. And 26. Actually, 24 through 26. 17, Ecclesiastes 17:24 through 26. Read that.
This is Ecclesiastes 17:24. But unto them that repent, he granted in return, and comforted those that failed in patience. Return unto the Lord, and forsake thy sins. Make thy prayer before his face, and offend less. Turn again to the Most High, and turn away from iniquity. For he will lead thee out of darkness into the light of health, and hate thou abomination vehemently.
And hate, and so you're supposed to hate things that are abominable vehemently. That means like real bad. You understand that? You're supposed to like something that you know that's unlawful. The Most High knows if you hate that. He knows if you hate it. If you feel vehemently, if you feel enraged, inflamed like Mattathias did, he knows if you hate that. He knows who loves sin and who hates sin. Yeah, imagine that. Can't be on your phone, bro. That's the book.
I'm taking the picture.
All right. So, is that it?
Yes.
All right. Any questions pertaining to those precepts? So, that sacrifice in Romans chapter 12, by the mercies of God, present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High. Your sacrifice can't be like, oh, this is my sacrifice. This is all I could give. No, it's got to be your offering. If it's not acceptable unto the Most High, then guess what? It's going to be rejected. Just like whose? The Cain, because that's what we was talking about. Like Cain, his offering, the Most High didn't have respect to it. Sometimes we feel that we're gonna give our output, and this is all I could give for now. So accept this, Lord. You can't do that. You got to find out what the Most High wants from you. And how do you find it out? By searching the scriptures. The scriptures are going to tell you what the Most High want from you. You got to be a complete sacrifice. You got to present your bodies a living sacrifice. Even though you're alive, everything about you got to kill. You got to kill till you give it all up, until you turn holy, by you dealing with every law that you break it. Every law that you break it. You're not eating swine, you ain't worried about that. You're not stealing, you're not worried about that. You're not lying, you're not worried about that. But whatever you are doing, that's what you gotta completely put to death and still live. It should not be the death of you. Yeah, don't take it personal. And guess what? It says it has to be acceptable unto the Most High. Not just acceptable to you, because if it's acceptable to you, that's according to your mind, he gonna recompense it. We always say that. That's Job 34. Everybody remember me quoting that all the time, right? You got to remember the things that I quote to you. It's called learning. This increased your mental vocabulary as far as precepts, the understanding of these precepts, and the reminder of what's right. So you got to remember this stuff. Acceptable to you is what? According to your will, not the will of the Most High. Let's go and get it. Job 34. I understand how sometimes things could get away, time could get away. You could be distracted or whatsoever. But not all the time. Job 34 and verse 33.
This is Job 34 and 33. Should it be according to thy mind?
Right. So what are we hooking this up with? Romans chapter 12 and 1, where it says acceptable unto God. So your offering to the Most High, like we dealing with Cain and his sin. Cain and his sin was according to his mind. That's why it was sin. His offering was according to his mind. If your sacrifice of your life is according to your mind, or I can give the Most High this, I can give the Most High that, as far as time, commitment, dedication, application, the way I apply the word of the Father, this, that, and the third, my fellowship. If it's according to your will, it's sin. Do we understand that? It's sin. You don't want to be in sin. Because, what's that? Should it be according to your mind? He gonna recompense it. All right, he gonna recompense it. That means he gonna pay back what you're doing. Everybody understand that? These are hard sayings. Somebody don't understand that? Say, for instance, the Most High require you to commit yourself completely, and you say, well, I don't want to commit myself completely. Or what if it's your job? that stands in the way, or just your slothfulness. You understand? Your laziness. He gonna still get you. It's times there are people that work in here that come right out to work. I've always worked. You don't think that everything I have, I work for. I didn't steal none of it. I worked hard for it. Worked until I was damn near hospitalized, working hard for it. Almost cutting fingers off. Almost fainting, working hard for it. I work, man. Then there's times I would come in here tired, like straight after work. Or go home and shower and then come in here straight after work. That's my sacrifice. Tired. Or come sick, not feeling good. Nothing contagious, but we in this flesh, and so exhaustion or whatever, allergies or whatever. Man, it's times I come here and leave, and I'll go home and I'm like throwing up. I'm sick. Oh, I'm all whacked out. Not feeling good, under the weather. But I taught the class. I didn't just be like, oh, I'm taking off. No, I'm gonna put everything I possibly can. Everybody not like that though. And the Most High knows. If it's legitimate, it's legitimate. If it's illegitimate, meaning it's not, then he knows that too. He knows that you are not making a committed choice to choose him and that you chose something else. And the thing that you are giving to him, he could deny it. He could say, no, this is not enough. You can't make the Most High accept something that's not right. Especially, what if you're taking off to sin? What if you're taking off to sin? Come class to sin. Come worship to sin. Says he gonna pay you back. He gonna recompense it, whether you like it or not. That's what it means by whether thou refuse. So we're reading Job 34 and 33. Whether you refuse or whether thou choose, meaning you accept it or not. So go back to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. And the latter part.
Romans 12 and 1, last precept. Which is your reasonable service.
That means that's the least that you can do. How about that? How about that? That's the least that you can do. You can give everything up in the world and you can completely follow the Most High, and you can dedicate 1,000% of your time, even though if the percentage only go to 100, you can invest 1,000% of your time, and the Most High said that's the least that you can do. That means you cannot give him nothing less than total commitment and devotion. And some people don't understand that. Anything else is not accepted. You fooling yourself. He don't want nothing else from you. Because he get that from the world of Israel now. But the Israel of God that's supposed to be about the Most High, they're going to truly be devoted. Let's go back to Genesis and finish Cain. Any questions about this? It's okay. Questions are okay. Any questions about this? We're here so that we can all get an understanding. So we're not repeating this. Genesis chapter 4 and verse 5.
This is Genesis 4 and 5. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance failed.
Like always. Somebody go to say something to us, about something that we're doing that's not good enough, how do we feel? Offended. We have the audacity to be very wroth. That means angry. How are you angry at somebody correcting you on something that you doing wrong? The nerve. But you can't tell you the nerve. Like, you got some nerve, brother. You got some nerve, sister. I'm sitting here telling you that you doing something wrong and you angry because you being told that you doing the wrong thing? That's because somebody don't believe your BS excuse. Your explanation is what? Denied. Say denied.
Denied.
That's right. That explanation get denied, unaccepted. Because it's an excuse. You get angry and now your face screwed up. That's the count to this part. Tell me y'all don't see this. When you go to correct somebody on something that they doing, they ain't did wrong. Tell me. It's true. You do see it. This is what it's talking about. A person be like, yo, this is what I'm doing. This is why I did it. Okay, whatever. And you know it's all messed up and they know it's all messed up, but they try and cover it up with some type of excuse. You hurting yourself. God is looking for perfection, not you to walk in sin. He's not looking for you to make an excuse. You are supposed to be the best of the best. And he is putting it in us to bring it out. We're going to push you to be the best person that you can be. You got time to grow. Ain't nobody coming for you. But you got to stop making excuses. Stop lying to yourself because you ain't deceiving nobody. You ain't fooling nobody but you. That spirit is deceiving you, but you ain't fooling the Most High and his angels. You're not fooling them, you're just fooling you. We understand, okay, we got to give you time to grow. It takes time. At the same time, stop making excuses because you're only falling behind. You behind. You behind. You still in like the second or the third grade and you a grown person. What is a grown person sitting up? How old are you in the third grade? One of these children know. Maury, how old are you when you're in the third grade? Y'all, you know? 9? Oh, VJ, what grade you in? Third. Look at that. Third. Y'all, world meets VJ. How old are you, VJ? He's 9 years old. I'm messing my thing up. Introduce y'all to VJ. He's 9 years old. See that little bitty dot at the that little bitty dot at the end of the camera. You are an adult sitting in the class with Mr. VJ. Hi, Mr. VJ. All right. How would all of us as adults in his classroom while his teacher is teaching his curriculum to him and us? Because that's where we are. That's how far behind you are if you continue to choose sin. You behind, man. You supposed to be growing ahead, moving on to bigger and greater things and greater and better understanding. But we're not 9 years old. We 29 and 39 and 49 and 59 and 69 years old. And 19 years old. We're not 9 years old. So we got to stop comprehending and trying to pretend that we don't understand. Because at 9 years old, I know VJ don't understand a lot of things. I know that. Therefore, the grace allotted to him is totally different than the grace allotted to you at 29, man. So stop playing games. And at 19, man. So stop playing games. You're not a 9-year-old. While your countenance is wrath or fallen and you angry because you being reproved on something that you doing wrong. You got to stop that. The Most High is not accepting that. He already taught us that you cannot eat from both. You can't be in the truth and be in the world. You can't do it. Give me that about being filthy. If you're going to be filthy, then be filthy. 1 Corinthians 14, is that it? Revelations, I'm sorry.
Revelations 22 and 11.
Revelations 22 and 11.
This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
So if you're going to be unjust, go ahead and be unjust. If you're going to be filthy, then go ahead and be filthy. They say still?
Yeah.
Yeah, still. Stay that way. Read it again.
This is Revelations 22 and 11. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he that is filthy, let him be filthy still.
All right. Do we understand that? If you're gonna make that choice, then you're gonna make that choice. I was thinking of 1 Corinthians 14 and 38. 1 Corinthians 14, 38.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 38. If any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant.
Right. If any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. What does ignorant means? Not knowing. So if he's going to claim, oh, I don't know, we're going to claim to be ignorant, then okay. When it says, let him be ignorant, what does that mean? If any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. What does that mean? Think about that. If any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. If any man be ignorant, he claims to not know. Let him keep claiming it. It's telling you, leave him alone. Because you keep trying to deal with him and you keep trying to force it into him. And he keeps coming up with excuses after excuses after excuses. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get the line drawn on you, man. That's what's going to happen. It says, let him be ignorant then. Let him be ignorant. Let him not know. Done. We don't want that. The Most High will draw his servant away from you. And they'll bust a U-turn. Yeah, they're gonna bust a U-turn. See, they turned away from you. They turned away from you. This is you, but they turn away because you made that choice. You made the devilish choice. You said, oh, man, I'm gonna eat from this table, man. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. This fellowship is spiritual and it's unique. And it's peculiar and it's special. And it's high above everything on the face of the earth. And it's not to, and it's not for, we cannot be in that sin like that. All right. So let's go back to 4, Genesis 4. Please don't anybody get discouraged. What do we have to do? We have to change. Please, nobody get discouraged. We have to change. Everybody understand that? Do everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes. I understand these are hard sayings. What are we reading? The word of the Most High. What do we need? The word of the Most High. Because if it wasn't for the word of the Most High, we will remain in our sin. And if we remain in our sin, we're going to be judged according to those things. So these things have to come out. This is not a personal attack on any person. This is bringing out the sins of our forefathers so that we can see what they did so that we're not doing the same things that they're doing. All right. So Genesis chapter 4 and verse 7.
This is Genesis 4 and 7.
All right.
If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted?
That's a question. Is there anybody in here that you do well and you still don't get accepted? Is there anybody in here that does well but you still don't get accepted? When you do well, you get accepted. Yeah, when you do well, you get accepted. Sometimes it take a moment to get what? Recognized, right? It take a moment to get those acts recognized. But the comfort of the scriptures, what precept can we use to help us to understand that?
Instead of addressing in that
Yes. Where is that? No, not that one. He got it, but where is it? You need it for yourself. Galatians 6. Get the book of Galatians, man, and get out your hair. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 4.
This is Galatians chapter 6 and 4. But let every man prove his own work.
Right. Because sometimes it doesn't come when you think it ought to come. It might not come often enough. Sometimes you might have to lift yourself up. You might have to pull yourself up. Why? You might have to pick yourself up because of what? Often being reproved. Somebody's always saying something to you. So somebody's always saying something to you, you are often reproved. Often corrected. It's another word for reproved, corrected. Get corrected a lot. Somebody said something. Sometimes one word. agitated, tick you off. You bottled up. Somebody mentioned something, made you feel some type of way. You got to work on that. You ain't had nothing nice said to you in a minute. You notice that. Well, what do we do about that? Galatians chapter 6 and verse 4. Read it again.
But let every man prove his own
What do
work.
we do about that? Prove our own work. You know you applying the scriptures. You know you trying. I got corrected lately though. This is for them on the line. Let's go to the phone. What's that? You got corrected. You gotta prove to yourself that you actually fighting, you actually trying. You gotta prove this to yourself. Stop looking for validation in someone else because it's coming, thus says the Lord, but it might not be coming as fast as you want. Because you might be an evil person that love to be praised. Who calling you evil? Champ, no. The Bible said what you doing is wrong. So the Bible calls this thing that you doing wicked, evil. You like to sugarcoat it so it doesn't seem and make you look so bad. That ain't gonna never help you. Smooth words ain't gonna help you. That's gonna hurt you. It's going to deceive you into thinking that it's okay to do and God's going to judge you. And you ain't going to have no control over those consequences. And you're not going to like it. And you're going to be looking for answers. And you're going to be thinking that God ain't real. His blessings ain't true. Can't nothing happen for you. That's because you've been sugarcoating yourself. Or ain't nobody really showed you or told you about yourself. You won't let them. Because either you run or you stay angry or you want fellowship. Therefore, you won't get purged and cleansed. When you fellowship, you're going to get cleansed. We got to remember that. But if you're the type of person that you fighting and you striving and you fighting and you know you fighting, and the person that's always there really, talking to you or telling you certain things, ain't said nothing to you in a while, like you doing a good job or whatever, or notice something, but they there to notice that you messed up, it's okay. Keep it moving. You don't let nothing discourage you like that. Don't deceive yourself. At the end of it, you still got to prove your own work. This Galatians 4 and 6, let every man prove his own work. You still got to prove your own work. You cannot all the time look for validation from somebody else. Go ahead.
And then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone.
And then you're going to have rejoicing in yourself alone. You can be able to rejoice and say, you know what? Why did it say alone? Because when that test came, who was there? Nobody was there. Nobody, that wasn't there to see it. You passed. The last time you failed, they was there to correct you because they found out somehow. But this time, the test came, the trial came, the tribulation came, you won. You was like, you know what? I applied the scriptures, I didn't do that. Yeah, you want to tell this other person, I passed the test. That's okay. You want to do that? To say I passed the test. Come on, 1, 2, 3.
I passed the test.
Yeah, you want to do that, but sometimes you ain't able to do that. Say I passed the test. So you got to rejoice within yourself. You can do that, man. It's okay to do that. Do we understand that? This is how you pick yourself up. I ain't going to be there all the time for you. Your brother ain't gonna be there all the time for you. Your sister ain't gonna be there all the time for you. Your mother ain't gonna be there all the time for you. Your father ain't gonna be there all the time for you. The Most High gonna be there. But God is invisible. He is a spirit. Now it's time for you to do something for yourself. It's time for you to do the work. When you gonna do it? Because if you need me to do it all the time through correction, that means you don't ever intend on doing it. You looking for the words to fuel you. When you gonna think for yourself? When you gonna walk for yourself? When you gonna live for yourself? When are you going to apply because you see it and understand it and you paid attention because you sat in these classes? You got to be able to do it yourself so that you can find self-vindication or self-what?
Gratification.
Self-gratification. You got to be able to do this. You can do this. I tell y'all this all the time. I'm not just gassing you up. You can do it. You can do it. But guess what? This is how it's done. Go ahead.
And not in another.
And not in another. It ain't going to come from somebody else. Not all the time. I seldom hear it. That lady today told me, don't even know me. You a good man. I was like, oh, I take that. Because I be trying. You understand? I be trying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm saying to myself, okay, I'll take it any way I can get it. Because I do be trying. And she just meant as far as, hey, man, I see you be paying your bills. You pay a lot of taxes, dude. You paid all of this stuff. She flipping through my taxes and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, you good for this one. Because a lot of people I know, man, they're going to be out there on Kings Highway trying to buy some stickers. they ain't paying all the time. Y'all don't hear me? You feel me? They ain't.
Yeah.
Man, I'm driving down the street, stickers. I started to put my truck in reverse and go back. Dude, do you stay around here? Do you not know you driving this, what's your name, down, man? You driving the hood down, standing out here. Do I look like some? I be wanting to say this, but let me keep going. Do I look like somebody that wants to ride around illegally? You see me all the time. Do I look like that type of person? Lord have mercy. But do we get the gist of this, man? So the next time you need an uplift, Nabi, who gonna uplift you?
Yourself.
Okay, yourself. There you go. What about you, Elijah?
Yourself.
What about you, young blood? Me. That's right. Because you might need it before. Who you stay with? And them two characters. Before a novel can tell you. Before he can tell you. You might need it before then. What about you, a novel? When the last time some uplifting came? You don't know. And if you ain't uplifting yourself, that could be kind of rough, can't it? Because you over there trying. This is teaching you to uplift yourself and acknowledge the things that you do right. Right? I can go down the list, but we got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh man, I'm gonna continue this topic, but I ain't gonna take us because like that did the last time. But I wanna adventure off into one more thing. It's the same topic and same situation. Go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 6. Pay attention to this. Because with this class finna be over, y'all get to go home real fast. Be like the day I come, they cutting it short. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1.
This is Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Then were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth.
Stop. Who sinned? Okay. Anybody want to add to that? Who sinned? Everybody. Everybody. The sons of God and the sons of men. Everybody was in sin. It says in verse 5, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart, meaning man, meaning the creation, everybody that he created, was only evil continually. Everybody was in sin. If you are doing what the normal is doing, you are in sin. If your life is like the life of everybody, you can start the communion. If your life is like the life of everybody, you are in sin. Your life has got to be set apart. Your life has got to be different. Your house has got to be different. You are not supposed to think like everybody thinks. The way that the feeling is that, let me make sure I say this right. Like you know how Elijah felt? Find that for me. 1 Kings 19. 1 Kings chapter 19. And we'll get to the 1 Kings 19 and verse 9 and start at verse 9.
1 Kings chapter 19 and 9.
All right.
And he came thither unto a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him. And he said unto him, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts. For the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant.
Right. So you're supposed to notice that everybody in the world, man, everybody is in this midst of sin, man. You're supposed to know that. How you not seeing this? You're not blind. You're not blind. Elijah during his time was like, yo, the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant. Look at us. Look at our grandmothers and grandfathers and our mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, our cousins and nephews and nieces. Look at everybody at the grocery store. Look at everybody. Look at all of our neighbors. Look at everybody in Hollywood. These Hebrews, they know they Israelites. Y'all see the video with Common and Tiffany saying they know they Hebrews?
Common, the rapper,
Yeah.
and Tiffany.
Hey, these people have forsaken everybody, man. Go ahead. You're supposed to feel like that. You're supposed to be like, because everywhere you see, they in sin. People driving finna sideswipe you because they're in their phone or smoking weed. They all smoking weed. Everybody is smoking weed, looking for somebody to kill. These people, they all have forsook the covenant of the Most High. Go ahead.
Thrown down thine altars and slain thy prophets.
They threw down the places of worship and want to kill the true prophets of the Most High. Go ahead.
And I, even I only, am left.
Hey, when I go someplace, I'm like, man, I am the only person around here for miles that's serving the Most High. And I be glad when I stand self-corrected, when I see somebody, or even if somebody be like Joe Shalom, I'm like, okay, yeah, peace back unto you. But the real peace is what? The keeping of the commandments. Do we not know that? The real peace, the real shalom, shalom, is the keeping of the commandments. Hold this and go to the book of Ephesians. Just go bring out a point pertaining to that. Ephesians chapter 2. Now, I'm in Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 13, and I'm going to read 13, 14, and 15, and 16, and 17, and 18. But I'm going to skip a whole lot of words. So you're going to have to just pay attention. Verse 13, but now in Christ, verse 14, for he is our peace, he is our shalom. You see? He is our shalom. He is our shalom. For in Christ, he is our peace. Who have made us one, meaning us and the Most High, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us that separates between us and the Lord, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, meaning the hatred. Because it's hatred with God for you to have friendship with the world. And the hatred is still there if you love the world and don't love the Most High. Even the law of commandments. Verse 16, and that he might reconcile both unto God in one body. Verse 17, and came and preached shalom, and came and preached peace to you. Now, however, even though this is talking about the kingdoms of Israel, northern, southern, Gentiles, and the kingdom of Judah, it's still talking about Israel as a nation and the Most High, because we couldn't get right without the Most High. So, verse 18, for through him we have access. Verse 19, now therefore ye are no more strangers. So when you see somebody and they saying shalom, they not supposed to look like they are like they strangers, like they don't know what they doing. Oh, are you applying the commandments? One commandment that we supposed to see them board and blue and fringes that show the commandments is a reminder to you in your life. We supposed to see that. Another commandment for a sister is that, okay, we should see your head cover, because we know that you should be praying throughout the day. We should see you in a woman's apparel with a board and blue and fringe on. We should see that, and we ain't heard no words from you. That's our uniform. That's something that the Most High said for us to remember his laws, statutes, and commandments. It has nothing to do with nobody trying to be righteous, more righteous than another person. And it ain't spiritual. It ain't invisible. A spirit you can't see. So how they going to say, oh, that's spiritual? No, God said, oh, I want you to look upon that. You're supposed to be able to look upon that fringe upon your clothes with the ribbon, the borders of a blue, going around the 4 quarters of your garment. You're supposed to look at that, man, because it's supposed to remind you of what type of person you're supposed to be. So when I see you on the street, I'm supposed to say, okay, my brother is reminded of what person he was supposed to be when he left home, when the last time he heard those commandments. But we don't see that. You go to the grocery store, you don't see that. You go to a restaurant just to get food, you're not seeing that. So let's go back to 1 Kings 19. The latter part, and even I, only am left. You're supposed to feel like that, like, wow, man. So if you feel like that, why would you go yourself and put yourself in the sin? That's a question. If you feel like that, why would you go and be in sin? You didn't know we had to do that? Yeah, we have to. Somebody said they didn't know. That's all right. Let's go and show it to them. What is that? Numbers chapter 15. Numbers 15 and 37.
This is Numbers chapter 15 and 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel.
You see that? Speak unto the children of Israel with the head covering all the time also. Okay, go ahead.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So the border is down at the bottom. Your garment at the bottom, you're supposed to make a fringe. Go ahead.
Throughout their generation.
Every generation. We're still descendant. So our generation today still supposed to have that. Do you know what, man? Do you notice that when they turn backwards, they don't put this on? They're not walking around still in fringes. Nope. Why? Obviously, they had an issue with it from the beginning because it cramped their style. How many of us had people ask us in a derogatory fashion or in a mockery tone about the fringe on your clothes, as if it makes your clothes ugly or something like that? Exactly. Straight to hell with them. They need to repent so they don't go into the hellfire. but got the nerve to be all out of order, cross-dressing and mixed fabrics and looking crazy country. Brown and powder blue. Somebody like, wait a minute, I got the brown on. You know, I'm being here. My shirt brown and powder blue and black. Yeah, all the time, man. It's what's them strings? They call them strings. They used to tell that to me. What's them strings on your shirt? You wear them on everything. But it says we to make our fringes and put them on our garments. All right, put them on everything. You exercise, put them on your exercise clothes. You put them on. If you got to work, put them on your work clothes. Put them on everything. And that they put upon the fringe of the borders. What is the border? Down at the bottom of that garment, whether it's a jacket, a shirt, a skirt, a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them. So what does those fringes do? Those fringes remind you, man. So don't be walking around without fringes. They're supposed to remind you of what manner of man you are. You a commandment keeper. You men, you growing up in a priesthood. You're not sitting here learning to be professional learners, students forever. Ever learning, always learning. No, man, y'all kings and priests. You got to act like it, walk like it, think like it, live like it, feel like it. You're supposed to remember all the commandments of the Lord and be ready to drop them commandments at the drop of a dime. And then it says, and do them, that you seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, which you used to go a whore. I mean, you used to go straying away. You don't stray away. Oh, then fringes ain't gonna make. I don't want to hear you say that. Don't let nobody say that to you. You can't stop them, but ignore them. You correct them. So, but the Bible says do them. It says they make me remember. Everybody understand that? Because you go into an environment and you got them fringes on. You the only one with them fringes on. So them fringes tell you ain't like nobody else start doing it. And also tell you ain't supposed to be doing what ain't nobody else in here doing. Them fringes is correcting you. They are correcting you. You going someplace you ain't supposed to be and you looking at them fringes like, whoa. They do. And they gonna look at you like, yo, you ain't supposed to be here. I know what them things mean. What is you a Hebrew? You a Shalom, brother. You ain't supposed to be in here with me, you see? Yeah, they know. Then you try to tuck them in. Flip them around. Christ said you ashamed of him when you do that. Don't be ashamed. Everybody understand that? Don't be like that. That you may remember and do all the commandments and be holy. Meaning make a holy decision. For I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. Now, somebody said that you ain't supposed to know that they ain't know that you're supposed to wear the head cover all the time. Wear the head cover when you praying or prophesying. If you're not praying or prophesying, then there's no need to wear it. But if you are a single sister, you need that head cover on your head like the woman needs the ring on her finger to represent married sisters. Married sisters. If you're a married sister, you want to wear that head cover on your head like the married woman got that ring on her finger to let the guys know, hey, a man gave this to me. So married sisters in the community, in the nation, when they see that you all covered up, they know that some man decked you out or you decked yourself out. That represents the married type of thing. But if it's a woman and her head is not covered up, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, you know, this she walking around, she's bold. Look, this one here ain't taken. You understand? This one here ain't taken. But nobody walk around like that, no way, right? You're supposed to. All right. So, 1 Kings 19 and 10 now. We read that, right? They seek my life to take it. Now verse. That's what it was, right? 1 Kings 19. All right. I love this precept. 11. Read this one.
Verse 11.
Right.
And he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by.
So when he stood by, so he stood there. So Elijah went to stand upon a mount, meaning a mountain, before the Most High. And behold, the Lord passed by. All right. So he was standing up. Just imagine great mountains. And Elijah is standing on one of them, and he's following these instructions from an angel, and he's waiting for the Lord to come. But in his eyesight, he sees something. Read the next part.
And a great and strong wind rent the mountain.
So something happened. The Lord passed by, and the mountains just start crumbling down. Of course, he couldn't be close to him because what would happen to him? He would die. He'd have failed. You understand? Go ahead.
And break in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake.
So then after the wind left, then everything started to tremble at the presence of the Most High. Go ahead.
But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, and fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, what doest thou here, Elijah?
Right. So then the Most High, because it was the Lord was on his way, and then it got close to him, and he said, what are you doing here, Elijah? Go ahead.
And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts.
That's right, I've been jealous. You understand? Jealous is angry. Is that the feeling that some of you have? Or you just complacent, like, oh, whatever. People, you could do whatever you want to do, with the Most High or against the Most High. You can just live your life. We at the GA, we do this and y'all do that. No, man. That's horrifying. That's crazy. We are in the same predicament as those people held in captivity that raised itself up for us. When we're in the same position, we are making a choice to apply. We need to speak to them. They need to make a choice to apply too. They need to apply too. We ain't no better than them, and they ain't no worse than us. They ain't off the hook. They need to be doing this. So you're supposed to feel some type of way. The scriptures say, sigh and cry for abominations done in Israel. So Elijah the prophet was like, I've been very jealous for the Lord. Go ahead.
Because the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword.
Right. When it says thrown down their altars, how do you know? Wherever they saying that they learned, well, why ain't that establishment up and thriving? Because they didn't care nothing about it. Think of all the places, all these people that saying, I know I know, Israel. Well, why didn't you build? The Most High was trying to use you or set up something in your house and build a little sanctuary, but you didn't care. You let your job get in the way. You let the woman that you chose get in the way. And some of us, we choose these bad women and have a bunch of unprofitable children. And then now we just forget all about what the Most High called us. Oh yeah, I know, Shalom, brother. I know that it's like, yeah, but yeah, she like, well, you better come on. You're like, okay, yeah, peace, brother. You can't even talk to him now. Altars of the Most High ain't even erected. They won't even erect them. Oh, I gotta take her to her mama's house. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. It's all the woman. You don't want no woman like that, man. You can't be a man. These altars men build, not women. We can't even erect altars of the Most High. These altars are supposed to be sanctuaries in our houses, man. Going around talking about shalom. What you know about that? The real shalom is the peace between us and the Most High. Well, we're going to return back unto the Most High. Why you drunk? Why you high? Why'd you give up on life? You ain't supposed to. My question that stemmed all these last precepts is, do you look at the world like, man, you the only one doing this? Do you not notice and see that the whole world is in sin? Like it was before, the whole world is in sin. Open your eyes up. Stop accepting it and do something about it. First, by dealing with the man and the woman, or the woman that's in the mirror. Deal with yourself first. Then the Most High gave you help amongst one another to go out in 2s and 3s and spread the gospel. Stop being afraid. All right? So, go ahead.
And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And the Lord said unto him, Go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu the son of Nimshi shall thou anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel-Manolah shall thou anoint to be prophet in thy room. And it shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay.
So these were all hitmen of the Most High. Listen, when he's saying him that escapeth, Hazael, and the rest of these guys, the Most High is saying things are going to be set in order. And if they don't get set in order, these men are going to kill them. Go ahead.
Yet have I left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every month which have not kissed him.
In every mouth.
And every mouth which has not kissed him.
So the Most High was saying that you're not alone, but 7,000 is not anything compared to millions of people that was in Jerusalem. You understand? 7,000 that's not no huge number, but still. So in other words, even though, listen, did he know about the 7,000? Because it was like a needle in a haystack. That's where we're going with this. It was a needle in a haystack, man. You can't find that one needle. So in other words, you're going to be thinking that you're by yourself, even though you're not by yourself. You see all of us. But let us all disperse and just go on different, go in different directions. I bet it'd be hard to find somebody that looked like you or a commandment keeper. We're running into them, but I'm just speaking in general, like, yo, when we was back in Genesis, what was that, Genesis 6? Genesis 6, everybody was in sin, man. And that's why he killed them all. That's not the situation that we want to be in. All right, so we'll continue this topic and bring out more sinners of the Bible on Thursday. All right, any questions? What's wrong? Matthew 26. Matthew chapter 26, verse 6. Now when Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came up to him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? But this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought to get work upon me. For ye are the poor always with you, but me you have not always. When death shall pour this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So all praises to the Most High for giving us to the Spirit to come forth and give Christ some comfort for his burial and bring forth a beautiful example of a broken and contrite heart. So all praises to the Most High. 1 Corinthians 11 and 23, this is the communion that Christ said to do in remembrance of him. So Israelites, we should really take this like really, really personal when we do this communion, because this is something that Christ did with his apostles on a personal level, and then had Paul to teach the rest of Israel and the apostles too, all right? To teach this to the rest of Israel, to do this in remembrance of him in his absence, okay? And this is something that they actually did together. So you're still commemorating something that was done by the Messiah himself. And this is just a beautiful thing, man, just to be duplicating and rehearsing it and going through something that he actually did and having him in mind while you doing it. All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 23, for I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you. So he said, I'm delivering this to you, that the Lord Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, he took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. So when he took that bread, he actually was breaking it and giving it to them. And he said that this is my body. Now, had they began to whoop and beat him and crucify him yet? Not yet. But they understood what it meant when it began to happen. Because he was like, this is what's going to happen to me. After the same manner also, he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. So it said, he told them to do it. And he also said to do it often. And then he also said to do it and to remember him as a remembrance. Okay? For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Meaning you always remember me until I return. Because if we remember him, that means we are going to be found doing the things that he did. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. In other words, you know, I keep expounding more and more and more, not being all in. We have to be all in. But let a man examine himself, because you know who's all in and who not. So let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. But he that eat it and drink it unworthily, eat it and drink it damnation to himself. meaning a judgment, not discerning the Lord's body. The Lord's body right here is referring to his congregation, his members, because that's who he cares about. Because by us being members one of another, we tend to follow each other's lead and example. We tend to set the bar on one another and say, oh, if this brother does it, I could do it because this brother ain't gonna do no wrong, or this is acceptable. You see? So by leading my brother astray, I'm gonna have to pay for that. If you lead a sister astray, you're gonna have to pay for that. If you set a bad example, you're gonna have to pay for that. So you have to separate your actions from what? From the body. Because now you're in Christ's stead, you're saying, this is my body. Although this is his body, but like, I'm doing this. So I'm breaking my body for you, my brother. But if you're not really breaking your body, but you making provision for your body, and you doing whatever your body wants to do, and I learned that from you, he gonna get us both. I gotta die in my sin. But my blood gonna be on your hands because you were supposed to do something different. You were supposed to lead me in a different direction. And guess what? And if you're not serious or worthy of doing this, you're not supposed to take this. You worried about the embarrassment? The judgment is way worse than you being humiliated by somebody wondering, like, why this brother or sister ain't taking communion? But he that eateth but let a man examine himself, so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself. I read that verse 30. For this cause, meaning weak and sickly among you, and meaning sleep. See, so you have a weak spirit, a sickly spirit, and death. Or the Lord just let you go. That's the sleep part. Sleep is two things. You can go back to sleep, go back into the world, falling asleep, turn backwards, have all this understanding taken from you, and all the judgment for all the sins that you commit is gonna fall upon you. The curse is gonna be poured upon you, and you'll be wondering, like, man, why ain't having no success? Why I lose my car? Why I lose my house? Why I lose my job? Why I lose my? If you're a woman, why you lose your man? If you're a man, why you lose your woman? Why you lose? Why I lose my money? Why I lose everything? Why I lose the fellowship? Because this is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful fellowship. But everybody here, the souls belong to the Most High. And this fellowship is contingency upon your participation in the Christ. Because the people are under commandment by the Most High to walk away. Because you will be an enemy against their own cross, man. They trying to put something off, and that thing live in you. They're not trying to be seduced by wicked and evil spirits. So why continue? Because you want to, you ain't gonna be able to do that. So if you care about all the things that being said and all the consequences of losing, why would you sin? That's what the Most High told Ezekiel to tell Israel. If your sin be upon you and you pine away in them, why would you sin, Israel? Why would you die, O house of Israel? You know you fall into pieces. Why are you going to keep doing that? You fall into pieces. You cannot be that delusion, that deceit. You got to be stronger mentally than that. To see yourself fall to pieces and you ain't going to stop. All right? So, for we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. How do you judge yourself? By stopping. Yeah, stop it. It's like being at a crab table. You see you losing, stop. Let the losses that you have lost be sufficed. Just walk away. Don't just keep on gambling until you plugged. But when we are judged, we are chastened. If you keep on gambling, you're gonna get judged, and it might be a big judge. You know, death doesn't come to everybody. Pay attention to this. We done. Death don't come to everybody. Heart and main come to some of us. Halt means what? Stop. Oh, you stopped. You stopped. You ain't sinning no more because you can't. You can't. What if you was doing something with your hands? The Most High allow your fingers to get cut off. Can you do them with them hands now? You have no choice but to sit here and be in the scriptures. You'll be like, Shalom, all nubs. You halt. He got you. For those in the back that can't see it, nubs. What if you are a sexual deviant and you won't stop? God got the solution. It's meant for you to make it because he promised your forefather something. So he'll destroy your vessel. You know, there's people walking around with their vessels destroyed. Hey, they can't use them or they disease infested. They go through pains and outbreaks and leaks and all kind of stuff. They can't even function normal on a normal level. They mean they keep the reproduction is out of the question now. And everybody in here, every young person in here wants a thriving family. And none of you probably even think about that. What is this person's health like? You're too busy looking at a face. See how much you're thinking? Not at all. You gotta get that out, man. Gotta. The Most High judging people. Wait a minute. How many people in sin? So if everybody in sin, how many people is the Most High judging? So why are you out there looking for somebody? The Most High know I bring them straight to that door and sit them down and show you which one and heal them. Or if they ain't, don't need no healing, but teach them and get their mind ready. So you go out in the streets looking, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for, a judgment. But I wonder if you hear me. It said, and maimed, cut off. Cut off. And you still got to keep the commandments. So he'll chasten us that we should not be condemned with the world. See? That means so that you don't have to get the lake of fire like everybody else. Christ said it's better for you to enter into the kingdom halt and maimed than not entered in at all. But why does it have to be that type of extreme judgment? To say, okay, but do you want that type of force? Oh, who wants that? Who wants a brutal force like that just to stop sinning? You turned into be an amputee because you kept driving and going all over the place you shouldn't go. Now you can't get around. You both arms cut off. You would think that was excessive. That's an excessive force. You would be so mad at God, but you know that the Bible is true. You spend a lot of times fighting Satan, fighting evil, and using and needing to be restored. You know what type of mental tormentation that is? That's crazy, man. That's insane. When you started off with both arms, you started off whole. You're going to drive the Most High to that point where he's going to have to slap you down there 6 feet deep just for you to know that he's God. Don't let that happen. Because everybody in the world, they getting it, man. They getting it. He got something special for the believers. And it's a lot tougher too. Most High, in the name of Christ, thank you for the food and drink, amen.
Amen.
This is body was broken for you. Right? This is blood. Oh man. All right, Israel. So that's it. Now praises. All right. What's up, YouTube? Shalom.
You still want to do it?
Yeah. All praises. Okay, let me get up. Get to energy. So Israel, we're gonna y'all stay around for the prayers. Of course, I know y'all will. Okay, Israel.
If every man was just like me, what kind of sanctuary would this be?
The Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6 and 9. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The laborer's prayer, Luke 10 and 2. Therefore said unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the labors are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Bless you, most high King of heaven and earth, and all things, most high name of the Christ. Send more disciples and teachers to your harvest, to gather your people Israel, and send counsel behind your laws, to stand before thy people Israel. Give to us strength to break down our lives with thy word. And in Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
The blessing of Israel, Numbers chapter 6 and 24. Children of Israel, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Hey, children of Israel, bless one another.
Most high name of Christ bless you all.
All right, so okay, Israelites, y'all have a blessed evening. What's up, Tim? What's up, Bach? What's up, Judah?
Really.
All right, hey, good night, Shalom. All right, Israelites, Shalom, most saints, bless. Have a good night.